What's up YouTube, Jeff back again. Today another very exciting Samsung video for you guys, and today we're talking once again about Samsung versus Google Messages. I made a video about 10 days ago talking about the fact that Samsung is phasing out Samsung Messages here in the US in favor of Google Messages, and they're actually getting rid of RCS in Samsung Messages entirely on most carriers in the US starting on January 6, 2025. That video got tons of attention, more than I expected, about 250,000 views. And so I wanted to take some time to explain some of the more common questions in the video. The main two are, one, what is RCS? Because some people had no idea what RCS is and why they would care if Samsung removed it from Samsung Messages. And two, what are you giving up if you switch from Samsung Messages to Google Messages? And could potentially Samsung integrate some of those things with Google into the Google Messaging app? So I'll address that today. Before we get started, I do want to remind you guys, if you haven't yet, make sure you check out our website, sammyguru.com, covering the latest Samsung news, tips, tricks, tutorials, updates, and reviews. We have a full writing team over there now, in addition to myself making videos. We've got everything you need for Samsung stuff. Make sure you check it, bookmark it daily to come back and kind of find out what's going on in the world of Samsung. If you're going to buy a Galaxy S25, you can tap the orange banner at the top here, sign up for our free mystery box program. You get a free case cleaning kit, desktop phone stand, other randomly inserted goodies as well. We do this to give back to the fans. All you have to do is use our affiliate link. We cover the cost of shipping as well as the cost of the products. It also helps us make a little profit to keep bringing you guys great Samsung news here on the website. On the right, we're going to take a look at Samsung Messages. And then over here on the left, we're going to take a look at Google Messages. And so I first want to explain what RCS is and why you should care. RCS, if you open this Google message here, I have you'll see at the bottom it says RCS message. Now what RCS message let you do is a couple of things. One, you can get read receipts, which I know some older people don't care about that. I don't care about it too much. But for the younger crowd out there, a lot of them do care about read receipts so that you know when someone read your message. Here you get the little emoji reactions where you can long press and react to a photo. You see I did the little heart emoji here on this photo of my son. So that's another cool thing you get. You also get higher quality media sending, so you can send photos and videos in higher quality, which you don't get on regular SMS. So while it may not be important to you, RCS is important from a modern messaging standpoint. And if you do want some of these things like read receipts, reactions, and then also the high quality media send, which a lot of people do want that for sharing photos and videos, you need RCS. So Samsung is removing that from the Samsung Messaging app. And in fact, they've stopped pre-installing Samsung Messages on new phones here in the US. The Google Messages app is the only one. And if you look in Google Messages, and you'll see you've got, this actually tells you everything you need to know about RCS chat. You can see you've got your RCS chats, read receipts, typing indicators, resend as text, auto download files while roaming. There's a lot of information here for RCS. And those are the things that you have when you enable RCS in your messaging app. Now, a lot of you told me you don't want Samsung Messages to switch to Google Messages because you don't like Google, you don't trust them with your privacy, and I totally hear you there. That's definitely a concern. If you buy a Samsung phone, you want Samsung Messages. However, since they are going to be getting rid of RCS on most US carriers in January 2025, your options are really to switch to Google Messages, to keep RCS, switch to another client, text client, which I will cover some alternatives in a future video, or you can use Samsung Messages without RCS. So why would you want to use Samsung Messages over Google Messages? Well, here's some things. I sourced these from a bunch of my followers on X, things that they love about Samsung Messages that Google Messages doesn't have. Now, Samsung and Google are partners, so potentially they could integrate some of these things together into the Google Messages app. And of course, you can see that Google Messages is listening to me still there right during the video. So the first thing is categories. Someone else called it sorting. Basically, if you look over here in the Samsung Messages app, you can filter your messages into different categories. And I just made some here because this is a S24 Ultra that I'm not currently using. I switched over to this one for the One UI 7 beta. But I made some new categories so you guys can kind of see how they work. You can add any new category you want here for your business, for your two-factor codes, things like that, for conversations with your family, your friends, and sort them out. That's not possible over on Google Messages. So you're missing that. That's one thing. The next thing is a true AMOLED black theme. Now you can have a dark theme on Google Messages. So if you go to theme here, you can turn on a dark theme, but this is the system dark theme for Android. It's not AMOLED or AMOLED, depends on which one you like. I know I'm probably saying it wrong to some people. If you turn on dark mode over here on this S24 Ultra, you'll notice that Samsung Messages automatically goes to a true AMOLED theme. super dark, which looks great, and it's got the contrast for the messages. So that's another thing. You cannot get that in Google Messages either. And so next is integration with calendar and notes. So if you have a message, I'll just go into this two-factor code over here. You've got perfect integration with all of your Samsung stuff. Not only that though, if you hit plus down here, you can do even more with the message. You can insert a Samsung note directly, insert calendar appointments here directly. It's got better integration with all your Samsung apps, quick responses, and subject, which are also really nice things that you can add here directly from the plus icon. So this has much better integration with all of your Samsung stuff. For instance, if you want to insert a note, you go right to Samsung Notes. You can take one of these notes here and insert it right into your conversation in your desired format. Obviously, Google Messages does not have that integration at all. Here you can insert, photos. Here you can obviously use Gemini as well, voice recordings. But if you look here at this little plus sign, you can't use Samsung Notes. And of course, you can't insert your Samsung Calendar stuff. So if you're in the Google ecosystem, that might be okay. But if you're in the Samsung ecosystem, and of course, you bought a Samsung phone, so obviously you might not like that particular fact. The next thing is the custom wallpaper. So let's talk about that. You can actually customize your chat room over here to get even a custom wallpaper. If you go to customize chat room, here you can choose from these pre-selected gradient themes if you want, but you can also go to the gallery and you can go ahead and grab a custom wallpaper from any wallpaper that you have over here. In fact, not all of these wallpapers I have would be great, but you can choose any image you want and set it as your wallpaper. Just use this one as an example. You could choose this and apply it to all of your chat rooms. Now this is not going to be a good one because obviously this is a screenshot, but then your chat room will look like this. Over here, you can customize your chat room a little bit, but not very much. You can change the colors. You've got these various pre-selected colors that are very googly, and not all Samsung fans really like that. Now, I am going to change this back because this looks absolutely awful. You can reset it back to the default just by hitting the reset button, and it'll take you back to the default, whether you're in light mode or in dark mode. The next thing is a true trash. So if you delete something over here, let's say I'm going to delete this message. It's actually a message to myself. And so if I delete this, you'll see that it says it's permanent and cannot be undone. Whereas over here, if I delete this, it's fine because it's going to go to the trash. You also have the option to block the number when you send something to the trash, but because this goes to the trash, later if I need to recall this, it's not a problem. I can easily do that. I can go over here to the trash and I can recall any of the messages that I have deleted. And then of course they're deleted after a certain amount of time. You can set how long it takes for them to delete. I believe 30 days is the default, but you can change that. So that's a big one as well, is the ability to have that trash experience. The next one is a couple of ones that are not really ones I'm going to show here, but you have a better tablet experience with Samsung tablets. Google Messages looks terrible, has a terrible interface on tablets. Phone link integration if you have a Galaxy Book or another Windows laptop, it's just fantastic. You can send messages directly from your Galaxy Book as well. Integrates perfectly RCS when Samsung had RCS, but of course, as we know, the RCS is ending. Other people said the general UI, animations, things like that. This is much more baked into the theme that you have on your Samsung device. Obviously, you have some other great settings as well that you have inside Samsung Messages, like these guys, the quick responses that I said as well. Delete old messages automatically. Some other great things too, I'll just point them out. We'll go over here on X really quick because I bookmarked all the ones that people had as a response to my post over there. Everyone pretty much had a different response. So some of the ones that I didn't necessarily get to respond to, some people said profile pics not being overridden by the Google account profile pics. That's a big one if you have them stored in your contacts. General user experience, Samsung emojis, customization of non-RCS chats, the UI and the UX, which we already mentioned, the trash, that was one that came up a lot, pitch black UI, categorized list, pretty much everything here, the revamped emojis, everything that we kind of talked about here. So at the end of the day, how likely is it that Samsung and Google will get together and incorporate some of these things? I would think if we give them our feedback and people are upset enough, they will try to come together and incorporate some of these into Google Messages. Just look at what happened with Quick Share. Google removed their own sharing functionality for Android, Nearby Share, and went with Samsung's version, which is Quick Share, because it was just better. And so it's very possible that if we give them this feedback, they might come together and incorporate them. Let me know what you guys think. Are you going to switch from Samsung Messages to Google Messages? I'm very curious to see what you guys say. I know a lot of you just don't like the privacy concerns with Google, which I entirely get, and I'm going to cover another video with some other text app alternatives that might have RCS functionality and other options for you to explore. Definitely look out for that future video. Again, check out our website, sammyguru.com. Let me know what you guys think about all this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.